Why, hello there, YouTube. It's me, Random Ross. So we now are beginning the second half of 2026. It's July, and I think we've seen some good movies so far this year. I think we had some good ones out. I'm not going to do a worst list or anything because I've not seen enough worst movies this year so far. So, I will probably do one towards the end of the year, but for now, I'm just going to give you my top 10 best movies of 2026. So, I've got it all listed down. What are my, best movies? It's all my personal opinion. None of you have to agree with it. But before I get going on it, I want to throw in a few honourable mentions to 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I think it was a huge improvement from the previous one. Mother's Pride, a feel-good dramedy, based on a true story. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, a witty time travel sci-fi action adventure. Send Help, Sam Raimi's back and he's doing what he does best, horror and humour. The Sheep Detectives, a good mystery thriller with sheep, and a comedy in there too, and Power Ballad, Okay, top 10 times. So coming in at number 10, it is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yes, after the cancellation of the series The Mandalorian, they decided to bring them back on the big screen in a feature film. I mean, it felt like just 2 episodes of The Mandalorian put together. And, I mean, come on, at this point, Star Wars is a cash cow for Disney. It's here to stay. They're going to keep making these movies whether we like it or not. Was this a good one? Yes, but, I mean, like I say, I would have been happy if this was just straight to Disney Plus because it's, yeah. But it had its moments, and like I say, I'm glad that they gave the Mandalorian another chance, another shot. I mean, the third season wasn't the best, but I'd say that at least we got some stuff with. At least we got that, Mandalorian and Grogu, Pedro Pascal at it again. So number 9, it is Scream 7. Yes, the Scream franchise returns once again. Of course, this was not the original the story they envisioned for Scream 7, but due to behind-the-scenes drama, Jenna Ortega and the other girl, they dropped out because one got fired and Jenna Ortega just quit. But they did, however, bring Neve Campbell back as Sydney, and we got some new characters, and they changed things up by ruling out all the suspects who we think could be Ghostface or the Ghostface killers. Had quite a brutal killing on the final Ghostface. A good song added in there by 9 Inch Kill with McKenna Grace. That girl is 20 years old and she has made her place in various franchises in her career. But Scream 7, I was just happy to see the Scream franchise return. Yeah, this was no way brilliant or as good as the others. The Scream franchise is just... It's just sloppy, but to me, comfort sloppy. Okay, yeah, it's past its prime with the original trilogy and that, but yeah, if an eighth film, I think, is seeming likely, so we shall see. We shall see. Number 8 is sports drama Giant. Um, the true story of the boxer, who everyone calls Giant, from Sheffield, and yeah, it was a good boxing drama. Pierce Brosnan did a great performance in this as well, playing the coach, the trainer, and stuff. It was mainly about his things from his perspective as well. I also like the look of old Sheffield, seeing them in how they recreated it and stuff. So yeah, Giant, it was a good one. It's number 7. It is Supergirl, the most recent film I've seen on this list. Yeah, I don't get why people are shitting on this film. It is the second film in the DCU, okay? Give this franchise a chance to get going. Yeah, It was in no way a brilliant film. It didn't live up to the hype of Superman from last year. But like I say, give the DCU a chance to prove itself. They're not rushing things this time. They're taking their time. They're not trying to compete with Marvel. They're doing their own thing. I feel that this film was a bit unfairly treated, and come on, everyone agrees Jason Momoa was one of the best parts of it as well. But Millie Alcock, an actress I'm still getting to know because I've only seen her in the House of the Dragon and now Supergirl. I actually want to see what more she's got to her resume. And like I say, I did enjoy Supergirl. I just turned my mind off to it and just watched it. Didn't take it seriously or anything like that. At number 6, it is Toy Story 5. Yes, Toy Story back again. Now, I thought this had its day with the third film. It ended perfectly with the third Toy Story. It was emotional and was the end. And I'd say that that was the end for my generation. And some people have never bothered with the other ones, and I can understand why. I did see the fourth one, and I felt that, okay, another emotional goodbye again with Woody. And then, this fifth one, they kind of undo it. But I feel that Buzz and Woody were also demoted to supporting characters in this, as Jesse felt like the main lead in this one. With the message with it as well that, we are living our life around technology and a screen, aren't we, in this day and age and stuff. But yeah, I kind of see that maybe these last two ones and the sixth one that seems like it might be happening, I think, are not for my generation. They're for the modern generation. And if they're going to make another trilogy with this, with the sixth one, then fine, have it be a generation for that trilogy, but trilogy for that generation. But I'd say that my generation, we saw the franchise at its peak with the third one. The first two, I can never get tired of watching. I can watch them again and again. The third one, I've seen a couple times, a handful of times, but the first two are the best. So yeah, Toy Story 5 at number 6. Top 5, number 5 is Masters of the Universe. Yep, it took nearly 40 years, but they got it right. Yeah, the Dolph Lundgren one from 1987 was a bit of a mess, and it flopped big time. But this one, I'd say, was a huge improvement. We got action. We got a lot of action taking place in Eternia. We got some light humor in there. We got a killer soundtrack. We got Jared Leto, who is a hit and miss, as Skeletor, and we got, like I say, a bit of an origin for He-Man, but done in like sort of the right way. And I think he's one of the, probably because I've recently seen this as well, I thought it was a decent watch. Master of the Universe. So coming in at number 5, number 4, it is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Yep, the Super Mario Brothers are back with the second installment. This time on, being dedicated in a homage to the Galaxy games in the Mario franchise. We get all the cast return from the previous film, except for Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. He gets a silent cameo in this. We get Brie Larson as Princess Rosalina. We get an end credit scene as well, post credit scene teasing a potential third movie, which I kind of hope they do. And I just enjoyed this one. It was a fun watch, and I liked it. So yeah, it's in my top 10. The Super Mario Galaxy movie. What will they do next? The Super Mario Odyssey movie, maybe? We shall see. We shall see how things go. But number 3, it is Backrooms. Yeah. Now, Backrooms featured in my top 10 horror movies of this year so far on my horror channel. Like I did, I've done a top 10 horror movies, best horror movies of this year so far on my horror channel, Random Horror. And this was actually probably number 1. And yeah, it was done greatly. The sets, the scenery, the unease that I felt watching this. Internet horror, the director as well, Kane Parsons, being a YouTuber, and him being like being the youngest director to make a successful film like this is incredible. Good on that kid. You know, he can't even drink in America yet, and he's already made this masterpiece. Um, and it respects the stories it's based on, the creepypasta and stuff. Yeah, YouTubers need to get more involved, which they are doing, I think. And we'll get to that a bit later on. But my number 2 pick is Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling, a rock-like alien spider thing that he makes friends with whilst he's on a mission in space to save Earth. It was a feel-good sci-fi film, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was 2.5 hours long, but those 2.5 hours flew by pretty quick because I did enjoy it. I thought Ryan Gosling was great in it. I think sometimes he can be an overrated actor, but still, nonetheless, I think he's a good actor. And I love the friendship between his character and the rock alien, and how much of a feel-good film it was, and I did enjoy it. Okay, my number 1 pick, of course, I've had rethinks around with this one. My number 1 is another horror movie. It is Obsession. Yeah, I kind of have become obsessed with this film. I've been watching videos, reviews, dissections of this, and I can't get enough of it. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I mean, the premise, the be careful what you wish for trope, has been done before. We've seen it all and that. We've seen the weird obsession and the horrors and stuff. But you know what? It was done right. Written and directed by Curry Barker, again, a comedy YouTuber that dived into horror with his YouTube found footage film Milk and Cereal. Makes this movie, and he again is a young director, about 26, 27 years old, and he, Hollywood need to, take a note from the young kids because they know what we want. And yeah, this has been probably the best film of 2026 so far. And we're only halfway into the year. We've got more films to come out. We've got Evil Dead Burns. We've got Spider-Man Brand New Day. We've got Clayface. We've got so many more films to come in this second half of 2026. So yeah, I hope, will these movies move around? Will they change? We shall see when I do a wrap up of the top 10 best films of 2026. But up to now, this is just the best from 2026 so far. So it's given us some good movies this year. So yeah, do you agree with this list? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and to hit that notification bell. I've been Random Ross. This has been my top 10 movies of 2026 so far. So yeah, let's begin the second half of the year now. So until next time, I bid you all a goodbye, friends. Goodbye.